With a somewhat lack of visible role models, selected inspiring Ghanaian achievers were called to the stage to address the youth, including Tutu Ajare of Noble Friends, Barrister Lady Tete, Professor Felix Ehudu, the leading researcher on sickle cell, and, wait a minute, did they just call my name? Looks like they did.
I actually don't feel like I'm an achiever in any shape or form. I had the standard African parent who pushed you as hard as possibly could push you, and at some point in time the light bulb comes on and you actually start working as hard as possible to end up doing what you're doing. And one of the reasons that I've been very humbled in the past 24 hours is because of this young man standing beside me. I was at the House of Parliament yesterday, and I was there at an event hosted by Diane Abbott, the London Schools and Black Child Awards, and she basically has an awards ceremony for the best performing black children in London at O-levels, A-levels, and also at PhD level. And this young man here was one of the finalists. And there were 700 people in that room. There were lords, there were ladies, there were baronesses, there were poets, there were sports personalities, all there to laud the achievements of some of these children. There were children with 12 A stars, there were children with 4 AS levels, there were children who had amazing achievements, and a lot of those children had come from very disadvantaged backgrounds and had struggled tremendously. There was one young man who won one of the awards who actually broke down and had the whole room in tears because he basically came over from Trinidad and Tobago, had no money, had to put himself through school, had to care for his parents back home, and ended up with 4 AS levels. So it was an amazing story. So what I would like to do is really hand over to the young man beside me.
So currently I'm a PhD student at the University of Manchester, and for everyone who likes mathematics, keep going for it, because that's the area. So that was my passion from really, really young, and I've been pursuing that since I was about 7 years old, making computer games here and there, and sort of wanted to pursue a career in investment banking, and sort of pursued that with all my passion, all my heart. Decided to do a PhD about 4 years ago, which I'm finishing in about 2 months' time. But at the moment, I'm going to leave maths behind and continue doing my business that I've been started for the last 6-7 months. And so for anyone out there who wants to be an entrepreneur, you can come find me. I'd love to talk to anyone who wants to get into business, because that's something I also like to do as well. And just to tell you to keep fighting for your dreams, because at the event I was at yesterday as well, I was really humbled by seeing some of the achievements of the young guns behind me. And I'd just like to thank my parents, my mum who's here in the audience, for being a spectacular support for me. And talking about people laying foundations, and my sister who's at the back there, who set the tone, she set the standard, and all of us are really striving to do better than the generation before us. So I'd really advise you to do the same and look for people in front of you to take advice from and keep striving. Thank you.
My name is Lady Gifty Tete. I'm a Ghanaian, born and bred in Ghana, as you can tell from my accent. I'm a barrister by profession. Okay. When I first came to the UK and I told everybody I wanted to study law, people just laughed in my face like, what did you just say? Why don't you do something that you don't have to speak because you have an accent? And I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was knee-high. And I thought, if anybody else has done it, I'll do it. Against all the odds, I went to the university, I took myself through studies. I had to work and study in the evenings to do my degree, and went on to do the bar full-time, and I got called to the bar. Now, I practiced for a few years, and I decided I was going to set up my own chambers. You must be having a laugh. Here in the UK, set up your own chambers. I mean, do you listen to your voice when you speak? And I thought, I'm not just setting up my chambers, but I'll set up my chambers in the Middle Temple, because that's where all the barristers are. So that's where I'll set it up. And I remember when I took the lease and I set it up, the old woman who retired 2 weeks after said to me, "You have made history in the Middle Temple. We have never had a black female barrister head of chambers in the history of the Middle Temple." And I thought, okay, I need to look for all those people who said I couldn't do it and tell them I've done it. But I'd like to encourage someone, if I can do it, you can do it. I grew up in Ghana. I went to secondary school in Ghana. I schooled and everything in Ghana and came over here, and I didn't understand the system. I didn't have a clue what it was, but I had a passion. And I believed in God, and I believed that He had given me a gift. So it didn't matter what anybody said to me. I knew I could do it. And it's amazing. You meet different people, including the Queen of England, because you set up chambers in the Middle Temple. I mean, I shook her hands and I went backwards and I looked at my hands and I was like, oh, this is the Queen. I just shook the Queen's hands. You can achieve anything you want. One, if you're determined and you have God on your side. So like this young man, I would say, go for it. For those of us that God has blessed us to be here, if you need help, come to us. Like he said, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you see him.
I decided that I wanted to work in television. And I met a phenomenal woman by the name of Janet Na, God rest her soul, because she passed away about a year or so ago. And she said to me, Savannah, I'm going to Ghana and I'm going to host a program out there. Now, if you really want to do it, you can come with me, but I can't pay you. I can't provide you any accommodation. The only thing I can do for you is hold your hand and show you the way. So I spoke to my mum about it and she said, you know what, if that's what you want to do it. So Janet took me out to Ghana. At the time, I hadn't been to Ghana before. I was born here. My mother's originally from Ghana. My father's English and Italian, but I was born and raised just outside London. And Janet took me on my first trip to Ghana, and I stayed with my grandmother who lived in the village, who I'd only met once before. And every day we were up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we went to a studio where she was doing a talk show. So it was an open studio audience with herself presenting, and I was her co-presenter, having never presented before in my life. And the first morning she woke me up and she said, right, Savannah, you're going to meet me at my house. I'm going to teach you to speak. I said, Janet, can I not speak? She said, I want you to speak and project your voice to the other side of the room without shouting. I said, okay. So that morning in her mother's house then in Accra, I stood in her living room. She gave me some hot tea and she said, right, speak. So I said, right, okay. So after about 10 minutes, she said, right, you've got it. You know what you're doing, but you're still going to have to practice a bit more. We'll do it again tomorrow. So for the whole of that week, we went to the studio every day and filmed live shows in the studio, and they were then aired on the TV stations in Ghana, and they played out, and they then ran for the next 6 months. And I ended up doing that several times following Janet to Ghana. And it was during the time that I was in Ghana that I thought, you know what? I love this place. I felt a real connection with my roots, which I hadn't had while I was here. A real strong bond. And I thought, whatever happens, one day I want to put back into Ghana and contribute to the development in Ghana. So coming back here to the UK, I moved into television. I worked with the BBC, with Channel 4, ITV, worked up producing programs and documentaries, and then decided that the sorts of programs I wanted to do would be Ghana-focused, Africa-focused, and that's how most of you have come to know me, with my connection with OBTV and various other programs that I've been doing on the channels. I thank you for watching. I ask you for your continuous support to our stations, because they are the only Ghanaian station, as you heard earlier on. They're doing a fantastic job. And keep watching, and if there's anything that any of you want to do, stick with it. Be motivated. Several people have said that today. If I can be of any guidance or help to any of you, feel free to find me. I'm going to be here for the rest of the day doing interviews. I am willing to talk to any of you who want guidance in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's in media, whether it's in something else, because all of you can be the best. You can all be the absolute best of whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to feel that you have to be somebody else. You are individuals, and you're from, can I say, the best country in Africa. So put it there.
I have been asked to speak as an achiever, but I have not always been an achiever. I failed a big examination as a youth. And I want to tell any young man or woman here who has failed exams, you know, even in August or even a year ago, that you can pick yourself up and become an achiever. So one, failure is no barrier to achievement. Up and achieve, you will achieve every bit as well as those who are here. Number two, work hard. And it means that you will have to keep a diary, and you will enter every hour you spend in front of the television or on Facebook. And on Wednesday, you go and look at the diary of Monday. You say, I spent 4 hours on Facebook. On Tuesday, I spent 6 hours on Facebook. This is not how to achieve.
Our dear doctor is very modest. What he didn't tell you, what he's the world's leading expert on sickle cell.
This is an award. He received an award.
And he most recently received an award at the first Global Conference on Sickle Cell in recognition of his pioneering scientific work in sickle cell disease and its effect on Africans known to the world.
How do you feel about today's event?
Well, I'm extremely pleased hearing the speech of the High Commissioner, especially when he quoted my mentor. I don't know if you remember him saying that Agri of Africa said, only the best is good enough for Africa. And it is this Agri whose name I bear in the personal chair in the University of Cape Coast. But I'm extremely impressed by all the testimonials and the things that have been said, and the encouragement to the youth not to go astray and to keep the straight and narrow way. This is excellent, and the High Commissioner too has to be congratulated for inaugurating this event.
Thank you. What do you feel will make a difference to the young people today? What do they need?
I think parental guidance. The parents ought to be together, but if it's not possible, even the single parent ought to be caring and loving and pointing out what is good in Britain and also what is bad in Britain.
When I go raving, I get George first. Not gonna lie, I have a girl in a short skirt, never rave face, he's known as a big flirt. Now I'm waiting, it won't work.
There were other individuals present at the Ghana Youth Day who equally served as eye-opening case studies for the youth.
I just wanna move forward and progress. Look, Faith is my name and you know this. I put my heart in it, became an artist. Famous, I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous. I want girls to see me and be like, yeah, let's face it, went for the TV. Yeah, whatever my embryo feel, but for the video and then TV.
We just basically want to raise awareness that the fact that kids are out there doing some madness these days. They're killing each other senselessly, and we're just trying to provide a service
somewhere
that
for them to
engages
go.
their brain, you know? Yeah, so that's us. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Everyone, we're out. Thank you very much.
If you need us, just we'll be over the back over there if you need to holler at us.
And anything she wants, I promise I'll do it. Give up my life for her, I'll do it. Let her know that she's my queen. Baby, this song is for you. Let you know that I love you. Never will I make you cry.
There were other individuals that followed to lighten the mood and provide some entertainment, including Four Fingers.
The thing is, sometimes, yeah, there isn't an easy solution to try and talk to young people because, as we say, you lot don't understand what's on the road. You get me? What that means is you don't understand what's happening in the streets. And it's very different from what happens at home. Like me, my parents would consider me as a very good boy because I was at home before my parents got back. But outside, it was a different story. Everybody knew me as a person that was knocking out people. Nobody could mess with me. You understand what I mean? Because on road, for that, it's your respect that was most